Excited. We're gonna be talking about how not to fail at life. And for me, guys, first of all, let me just put my disclaimers out here. If you're doing the replay, go ahead and hit replay for me. If you guys are joining, go ahead and make sure that you put your name in the chat, guys. I really and location. I really want to engage with you. I really want to talk to you. And you might hear all kind of stuff in the background because this was not planned. This is just something I did randomly. I'm in Florida right now, and we're recording and doing all the kind of things, getting ready for our book launch. We're recording and all this. And I did the study this morning that I really want to share with everybody. And so it's like how not to fulfill it life, right? And yesterday's live, I was in a car because I got like this random thought philosophy. If y'all don't know, I love philosophy. And this came over me, right? And I believe, now I want y'all to, hopefully you guys embrace this doctrine as well. I believe this, that the number one thing that stops people from succeeding in life is not commitment, is not dedication, is not discipline, right? I used to say that discipline was the number one thing that people had to have. And I think I was wrong, right? And this is growth, right? I think that when you finally grow and things in life that you can actually say, you know what, I was wrong, right? Uh, I think I was wrong. I think that there is a step before discipline or commitment or dedication or all the other tenets that we subscribe to success. I believe this, that I believe that belief is the number one tenet that causes people to be successful. Now, hear me, right? You say belief, right? Here we go again, y'all. First of all, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to apologize for it. And I know a lot of Christians out here, and I'm a Christian. I'm saved, sanctified, for the Holy Ghost. I'm probably going to push back on this, but I don't care, right? I think that we have taught faith wrong in the church. Belief, we teach wrong. In the way you're going to hear it from me, probably is going to probably be a little uncomfortable for you, as it was for me when I first started like digging into this and I started getting the revelation on it. And I'm like, wait, it just sounds bad, right? But I think it's truth. First of all, so if we're going to talk about how not to fail at life, right? I think that we have to have some common vocabulary, because if I use a word and I'm thinking one thing and you use a word and you're thinking something else, then we're not communicating correctly. All right. And guys, I want to actually talk to you. So guys, if you are, when you come in, what's going on, Regina? Good to see you, baby. In Brooklyn. All right. So guys, put in the chat, where you're from. I'll love to engage with you. All right. So check it out. When we say belief, I believe, and this is what I'm going to be using as we have these conversations, because we're going to have them for like the next week or two. I believe that belief, well, let's go with faith first, right? What's going on, Miss Rogers in Texas? Us, Mr. Rogers in Texas. What's going on, man? Good to see you. I believe faith is this, and hear me. Faith is belief in action. All right? Faith is belief in action. Faith is not belief. Faith is belief in action. So I believe I have action that produces faith. Hear me. So where do you get this from? I believe that faith is seen. Y'all, faith is seen. And the lack of faith is unseen. So here are some examples that I can give you in the Bible. Jesus told the woman that said, even dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table, right? And he says, oh my God, I have not seen such faith in all the land, in all of Israel. The guy who was he was a general in the military. And he says, all you have to do is speak the word and my daughter shall be healed. Jesus said, oh my God, I have not seen, right? Here's another example. Jesus tells the disciples, oh, ye of little faith. So one, he's saying one is big faith, one is little faith. Both of those are measurement that can be seen. One is big, one is little. Both of them are measurements that can be seen. So if I have to see faith, or if I have the ability to see faith, then faith has to be action. He didn't see the tangible faith. He's seen the results of their faith. Well, what was the results of their faith? They had belief. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. In other words, I believe so strong to just give me the crumbs. I believe so strong that I'm willing to push through the crowds just to touch the hem of your garment. Why? I believe it produced action, and therefore you can see faith. I believe that we have taught faith all the way wrong in the church. Now, here's this, right? So you have belief, you have faith. I believe faith and belief produces expectation. So just stay with me, y'all, right? So expectation is, we had to define it. Faith is belief in action. We had to define expectation. Expectation is, I am, can't use a word to define the word, right? So I am, I can't say I'm expecting to receive something, because then I'm using the word to respond to explain the word. So I can say that I'm acting because I know that there will be a result. Now, watch this. There is good expectation and there's bad expectation. There is good belief and there's bad belief. Because faith is belief in action, and people can have positive faith and they can have negative faith. It's still faith. If I believe that I can't do something, I'm still using faith. And now you see my faith in action, because, and then what's the expectation? Nothing. Because I believe I can't do it. But if I believe that I can, then watch this, then my expectation changes, because I'm expecting to receive the tangible result of what I believe for. So then we go back to the Bible. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So remember when in Acts chapter 2, when the lame man was at the lame man was at the gate, right? What's going on, Harold? Good to see you, baby. The lame man is at the gate. The Bible says that he expected to receive something. What he expected to receive was not what he got, but he still expected to receive. Why? Because he believed if he go to the gate, sit outside the gate, and ask for alms, people are going to give, and I will expect to receive something. All right. So when we start saying that my expectation will lead to my manifestation, but it starts with belief, and my belief is a production of faith. So now we need to put these in a chronological order. It does not start with faith. It starts with belief. And when you actually begin to believe, there are some things about you that will begin to change. Hear me. So when I believe, then I now commit. When I believe, then I develop the dedication to the thing. When I believe, I then develop the discipline for the end result. Because my belief leads to an expectation. My expectation produces some actions inside of me that I now begin to do. I believe that many of the times that we're worried about the action and we haven't yet dealt with the belief. Here's an example. Y'all, I told you it's going to be all kind of stuff in the background. This was not planned, right? So here's an example. I believe, or you believe, that you're going to lose 20 pounds, right? We're just going to take something, common. I believe I'm going to lose 20 pounds, right? What's going on, Dre? So because you believe that you're going to lose 20 pounds, right? If you really believe it, there will be some actions, hear me, that will take place. If I really believe I'm going to lose 20 pounds, there would be some actions that are going to take place. I cannot tell you, oh, I'm believing that I'm going to lose 20 pounds and I'm not taking any action. That's not belief. It's, you know what? We even have to define that too, right? I think I need to come up with a word for that. Like when we say we believe, but we don't believe, or belief without action. What is belief without action? Somebody put in the chat for me. What is belief without action? Right? A dream, right? Whatever, right? So if I really believe that I'm going to lose 20 pounds, then you'll start seeing me eat better. If I really believe that I'm going to lose 20 pounds, you'll see me start to actually develop some habits that's going to allow me to lose weight, such as working out. You may even see me get up earlier or go to bed later. You'll see me actually turning my plate down and saying, I'm going to say no to breads or carbs or sugars, or I'm going to count calories or whatever I'm going to do keto or whatever you do. Why? Because my belief and my action, now you can see my faith. So now when people say, hey man, we about to go out and, go out to eat. I'm like, all right, cool. And we go out and I order differently. Like, no, I'm not eating any bread. No, I'm not drinking any sweets. No, I only want water. No, I'm staying away from any carbs. I don't want any pasta, anything like that. You can now see what I'm believing for. And people usually actually like, hey man, what's going on? You good? Like, yeah, man, I'm just why? Because you have now seen my belief in action is producing faith. Then what happens is that you begin to see the results, because now I'm expecting to see the scale go down. I'm expecting to see inches come off my waist. I'm expecting to see my weight begin to drop. I'm expecting to feel a little better, whether it's in my knees or my energy or wherever. I'm expecting, because I put belief and action together. So now I have an expectation that I should be dropping weight. All right, here's a simple one for you. Relationships, right? I think we can all go here, right? You believe that this person loves you. All right? You believe they love you. So in return, because of your belief, you choose to love them back. Watch this. Belief, action. Because I believe you love me and I love you, then now I'm going to choose to love you back. But now I'm expecting some actions to happen. I have some expectations that's going to happen in this relationship. When the expectations, watch this, when the relationships does not meet the expectations, so my expectations are here and the relationship is here. I have some challenges with the relationship because I put the expectation here. Same thing in weight loss. I expected to lose 10 pounds in, let's call it a month, right? Expected to lose 10 pounds and I got on the scale and I only lost 4. My expectation and my expectation was here, but my results was here, right? They did not necessarily meet. And when you have, listen to me, when you have faith that does not fulfill your expectation, it usually leads to disappointment. Hear me. So now we've now defined, because we're going somewhere with this, how not to fail in life. We have the first step is belief. Second step out of belief is then expectation. Out of expectation, it produces action. From action, watch this, from expectation produces action. Now we have faith. Faith can be seen, right? So now, because I believe, hear me, there is a different person that believes that it's going to happen than the person who did not believe. The person who did not believe that it was not going to happen, the person who believed that it wasn't going to manifest, the person who believed that it wasn't going to happen, was lazy, was comfortable. That person did not study. That person did not work. Let's call it working. Let's call it weight loss, right? We're going to use an example. That person did not work out. That person was not committed. That person was not disciplined. That person did not eat right. That person did not have the energy or the commitment to do the things. That person is totally different than the person who said, I now believe that it can happen. That person Is it totally that person now gets up in the morning, they're dedicated, they're committed, they have self-discipline to turn the plate down, they have self-discipline to say, I'm going to do things differently. Belief changes who you are. I need y'all to get this, y'all. Belief will produce some self control about you, all from believing that now produces faith. Faith is seen. And you cannot tell me you believe it and you're still the same person. Now it's oh, y'all really not gonna like this. Just telling you. And this challenges me, right? I'm telling y'all, because the reason that you study these things is so you can help yourself, right? And I'm just telling you what God told me, and I'm telling you what God told me, right? And God told me not because I got it right, but because I failed in this area. And you got to be able to admit that. So God told me, he said, the reason that you're failing in certain areas is because I don't see your faith. And so what do you mean see my faith, right? So anyway, so let's go to Christianity. You cannot tell me that the same person who did not believe is the same person who now believes. And I haven't seen any changes in your character, in your commitment, in your actions. I have not seen any changes in your walk. And when I say walk, I'm speaking of the things that you will and will not do, accept and will not accept, tolerate and will not tolerate. How are you, if it applies over here, see, these are universal truths. If it applies in weight loss and it applies in relationships, shouldn't it also apply in Christianity? That my faith or my belief in action will produce different results in me first, will then produce different results in my actions and then the world. Well, the same thing applies in my Christianity. You cannot tell me you believe and you still cuss just as much, you screw just as much, you lie just as much, you backbite just as much, you unforgive just as much, you're just as bitter, and there's been no change in you, but you say I have faith. Well, faith is belief in action. And if there's no belief that I can see tangibly in action, then I now have to question your belief. And if I question your belief, then I'm questioning who you are. That's why it's so dangerous. I didn't even say dangerous. That's why it's usually an argument when you question people's belief because their belief is tied to their identity. Here's an example. You want to get into an argument, invite a Jehovah's Witness in your house and question their beliefs. Invite someone can we laugh, right? Invite somebody who just got out of prison and turned Muslim, and they come over and you're at the family reunion and then you question their belief. It's about to be a fight. Right? Right? It can be something little. Like, all right, anybody play spades? You get somebody younger, they're like, oh man, this joker, deuce, deuce. And all people like, bro, that's kid spades. Like, no, man, we ain't doing that joker, deuce, deuce, man. Trump is high. That's what it is. And we're going to play regular spades. Well, those are two different beliefs. And now, what's going on, Ashley? Now you're in conflict because you got two different beliefs. And people will get mad because you question their belief because you're really questioning their identity. So now how do you not fail at life? You change your belief. How do you change your belief? What's going on, Valerie? Good to see you, baby. How do you change your belief? This is what the word says. The word says in Joshua 1:8, he says, in Joshua 1:8, he goes on, he says, that this book shall not depart out of thy mouth, but you should meditate day and night so that you can observe to do what's written, and then you'll be prosperous and have good success. And I'm summarizing, right? But then you'll be prosperous and have good success. Well, there's a lot of nuggets inside of that. A lot of nuggets. How not to fail in life. So I want to pause here, right? I want to pause here, and I want to now try to bring this home, as preachers would say, right? Let's actually take some real life experiences and show how life and these beliefs have things in common. All right. So I'm coming back over here, but I need y'all to stay with me. I'm coming back over here. Same applies to marriage. Sylvia, we talked about that in relationship. Same thing, right? And you're definitely right. So watch this. Let's use Sylvia, since you brought it up, let's use marriage, right? Okay, we use marriage. All right. So I have a desire to be married. At one time, I did not have that desire. Hear me. At one time, and anybody knows anything about me knows that I'm very candid about my past. At one time, I was promiscuous. I just called it I was a hoe. I was. And guys, by the way, just for the record, let me put this out here. This was in my 20s, right? This is in my 20s, right? Maybe my younger 30s too, right? Right? But the person who was okay with sleeping with several women cannot be the same person who says, now I want marriage. Those are two different belief systems. And if I change, watch this, if I change the desire without changing the person, then what I'm believing for will ultimately be mishandled, misconstrued, misplaced. What's going on, Shirley? So the only way for me to be successful in the marriage is that my belief system had to change with what is acceptable in relationships and what's not. When my belief system changed, then my actions would then follow. I will say, no, I'm not interested. Because I'm not even going to go there. Right? No, I'm not interested. Like at one time, and all right, we're just going to throw it out there, right? For men can date a woman and not be interested in you at all. We can date, we can take you out, we can do all these things, and we're not interested in you at all. We're interested in what you can give us and what you can do for us. But once you desire to do something different, then you automatically become somebody different. I cannot have that same mindset where I'm only looking to get what I can out of this relationship, and usually some booty, right? I'm only looking to get what I can out of this relationship, and I'm now believing God for marriage. You cannot have that level of transformation in your life and you're still the same person. When my belief changes, my action, my commitment, my dedication, my beliefs, everything changes along with my belief. Everything. Well, what's the different belief system between the person who's successful in life and the person who's not successful in life? I really want y'all to think about that, because when I believe different, well, then it changes me. So can I believe for a business? Lulu, you want to be in here too? Can I believe for a business and still keep the same mindset of an employee? I want y'all to get this. And when I change to a business mindset, well, then now it's like, okay, I now want to become an entrepreneur, but I've been an employee my whole life. So now my belief gives me the desire that I'm going to do something different. So now I start looking around my job how now I've been here for 5 years. I've been at this job for 5 years, but now I'm watching the systems that are in place. I'm watching from when I pull up in the parking lot how the lines are in the parking lot for security or for safety or for visibility. I'm looking at the cameras and how they aligned. I'm looking at how the landscaping is beautified, because I'm like, okay, why did they put plants here? Why did we come in here? Why is the garage over here? How do we check in with our badge? Why is security over here? I'm now monitoring and looking at it. I'm not looking from an employee's perspective before, because before I didn't care. I came for a check and out. But now I'm learning from every single things that never made paid attention to before. I'm learning from everything. HR, how we check in, how we got our clock, how I take off, what is PTO, why do we only get this many hours, right? Healthcare decisions, right? Now I'm actually looking at the systems we got in place as far as who do I report to, who do they report to. I'm not looking at reporting. I'm looking at how we answer the phones and why we got to answer the phones this way. I'm looking at how, like, everything now I'm seeing with a new lens, a new perspective, because now before I was, watch this, I was believing to be an employee. But now I know that because I'm going to be a business owner, well, what better place to learn from than the business that I'm already at? And so now my entire worldview now changes as an employee, but it goes further because now I'm willing to read books. Now, anybody will tell you that George does not like to read, but I enjoy reading. I don't like to read, but I enjoy reading. Like, what do you mean? I don't like the activity of reading, but I enjoy the information that I get from reading. Like, I enjoy learning. I enjoy content. I enjoy new walks of life. And I understand that in order to get that information, I have to do something that I really don't like so that I can enjoy what I get out of it. So now as an entrepreneur, I'm willing to do something I don't like so I can get what I really want. I want information, so I got to do something I don't like and I got to read. But I'm willing to actually read because even though I don't like it, I'm willing to do it because I enjoy the end result. So now I'm reading. Can I read self-help books and still become the same, still be the same person? Yes. All day long. And I'm going to argue with anybody else that's out here that says it. Yes. How? Well, here's my question. How many books and courses and YouTubes and webinars and conferences have you been to and never applied anything that you have learned? I'll wait for you guys to put a one in the chat. If you've been to a conference, read a book, been to a webinar, been to a workshop, and it's something that you really desire to do and you have applied none of it, put a one in the chat. I'll be the first one to put a one in the chat. I'll be my first one. Because when I really believe that I'm going to do this, you'll see a different level of commitment into myself, not into the thing. I now have a commitment unto me. See, if you want to change the output, the production, you have to change the input. What you produce will never change as long as you keep putting in the same thing you kept putting in to get the results. You must change the input. Now, hear me. The input is who you are. The output is what you do. I'll say it again. In order to get out of life what you are looking for, you must change the input if you don't like the output. Does everybody agree with that? If I want to change something, I want to change my output, then I got to change the input. Does that make sense? Well, if you agree with that, then the input, hear me, is who you are. The output is what you do. What do you mean? Once I believe something, I then become a different person than I was before I believed it. You cannot tell me you believe something and you're still the same person. Level of belief automatically changes you. If I change from a Christian to a Muslim, there's going to be some characteristics going to change. If I change from not caring about weight to caring about weight, my belief in who I am is going to change. if I care about being in a relationship, not being in a relationship, my level of belief in what I do is going to change. That's going to change. Who I am is going to change, input, and what I do is then going to change, which is output. See, I can never get the successful business, the successful relationship, the successful weight loss without first changing me. And what changes me? The belief that I'm going to get something different. So you've been trying to change the output. How not to fail at life? You've been trying to change the output. And what you really have to change is the input. And when you change the input, it will change you. And you will then give a different output. So then God gives it the formula to success. He says, how do you have good success? Meditate on the law day and night. He says you have to change the input in you. Then, watch this. Then he goes on, he says, then you will observe to do. The input was the word. The output is what you did. And because you changed the input, you got a different output, which then gave you a good different result. What was the end result? Success. I need y'all to get this. Input, the word. Output, you observe to do differently. Once you observe to do differently, you get a different result, which, according to the word, was then you shall prosper and have good success. So here's the question I have to ask you. If you agree with that premise, which I don't know how you can't, if you agree with that premise and you don't like the experience you're having in life right now, you don't feel like you're prospering, you don't feel like you're having success, is the problem what you're doing or is the problem who you are? It's not what you're doing. It's who you are. And if you change who you are, you will change what you do. And if you change what you do, you'll get different results. Most people are trying to change what they do without changing who they are. And if you change who you are, well, how do I change who I am? You have to develop a different belief system because what you believe is not working. What you believe is not manifesting. What you believe is working contrary to what you really want. So now if I change my belief system, I put something different in me, it changes my belief system. If I change my belief system, it changes what I does or what I do. It changes who I am. And it changes who I am, it changes what I do. And as it changes what I do, then I get a different result. So how do you not fail at life? Change your belief system. What do you believe today that is not fruitful? What do you believe today that you know is working against you and not for you? And I'm talking about limited beliefs that I always fail. I can't do that. That's for somebody else to do. This is too complicated. I don't have enough time. My It's all about my kids now. I'm getting too old. My dreams I finished. I should have gave up on them alone. These are belief systems. These are belief systems. Guys, hear me. Everything I just said is a belief system. And as long as you watch this, that's as long as you have that belief system, the output, that's the input, the output is going to be the same. I ain't now must change my belief system that's going to change who I am. Once I change who I am, once I change my belief, it changes who I am. Once I change who I am, then I actually start doing things differently. When I start doing things differently, I get different results. I really want, now guys, we're going to call you out, right? Seriously. Put in the chat a belief system that you know works against you. A belief system that you know works against you. And put it in the chat. Ashley says some folk need to remove trauma. Trauma keeps folks stuck. Faith comes by hearing. Hearing for some of us, it comes by hearing over and over and over again. That's correct. Over and over and over again. Limited beliefs. I can't do it now because, guys, we're already been like 34 minutes and I don't want to keep these things too long. But I can tell you how the world system has programmed you for limited beliefs. And I'm going to try to do it in like 2 minutes. When you were growing up, you wanted to do any and everything. Oh, what you want to do when you get up? I want to be this. 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 I want to do this. Right. And you got inundated with education system. The education system says you can't do that. And you can do this. And you can't do that. But you can do this. And what did it do? It began to knock down the dreams and the abilities that you wanted to have. Because the education system was made to get you a job. Nowhere in the education system was it ever made for you to prosper and have good success. I want y'all to get this, man. Hear me. Nowhere in any of the education system did you learn finance and money? No. Did you learn taxes? No. How do you prosper without understanding taxes and money? Did you learn business? No. Did you learn credit? Well, no. Did you learn entrepreneurship? Well, no. You were programmed to have limited beliefs and only have a job. You've been programmed that way since you started in the public school system. I need y'all to get this. So now we got to now reprogram your belief so that you become someone different, so that now you can give a different output because you're doing something different and have different results. We can talk this spiritually. We can do this financially. We can do this socially. We can do it relationally. We can do it economically. We can do it entrepreneurially. It applies in anything in life. If you want to get different results, you have to change the input. Don't change what you do, change who you are. And who you are, when that changes, it'll automatically change what you do. How do you not fail at life? Put a different input in. You will become someone different that will actually produce a different output you're doing. In translation, you'll get different results. But it starts with the limited beliefs. How do you now overcome the limited beliefs? By telling yourself different, by reading something different, by watching different things. Last thing, right? Last thing, right? How much time? And I'm so serious, right? Let's do it this way. If you have a job and you have a full-time job, it's typically 8 hours a day. Just hear me. If you work 8 hours a day, the average commute is about 45 minutes today. We're just gonna round it up to an hour. That's an hour on the way to work, hour on the way home. That's 10 hours. You got to eat. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's just give 2 hours for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just not an hour for each one, right? Just say 2 hours for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So now I got 8 hours for work, 2 hours for commute. That's 10 hours. Lulu's over here. That's 10 hours. What, you just gonna walk on me? Really? That's what we about to do? And then, yeah, okay. So 8 hours plus 2 hours is 10 hours. That's just commute and work. But then we got 8 hours of sleep. That gives me 18 hours. Then I got to actually have 2 hours to eat. That gives me 20 hours. I got 4 hours left. How much TV did you watch? How much time you spend on the phone? How much time do you spend reading? How much time do you spend empowering yourself? How much time do you spend with friends? You got 4 hours. And then you say, well, I got kids. Well, there go two of them, or three of them, or four of them. Or then I got elderly parents. Well, there go with four. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you got responsibilities still when you get off work. And you still find time to talk on the phone. You still find time to text. You still have time for social media. You still got time to watch television. But if you want a different output, you have to have a different input. So now I now have to say no, right? Because I believe something different. And if I believe something different, who I am is going to now begin to change because I have a different expectation. So now I'm not interested in television. I'm only going to watch YouTube and actually watch things that are going to empower me. I actually want to get an audible and start listening to things while I'm in the shower, while I'm on my way to work, or while I'm on my lunch hour. I want to read or hear empowering messages. I now want to start studying business. I want to start studying real estate. I now want to start studying these different things. Why? Because I'm expecting something different. So I'm doing something different. And my expectation came from my belief. You cannot stay who you are and believe something different. You cannot do it. Your input must change, so your output must change. If you have two people with two different belief systems, marriage is not going to work. My belief system. All right. Sylvia, I disagree with you. All right. All right. See, I'm trying to even figure out where to go, right? Because there's so many different ways you can go with this. Because it sounds like that you're uncomfortable in your marriage and you're trying to say that the reason that you're not becoming the person that you are is because of your spouse, because you believe one thing, they believe another. That person has nothing to do with your belief system. Matter of fact, I can even take you to the word where the word talks about how your actions is what actually ministers to your husband, not your mouth. So if you change who you are, and therefore your actions now change, and now you get different results, you can't argue with fruit. You cannot argue that this is an apple tree when I got real apples and I can really have tangible fruit in my hand. Can't argue with that. In your relationship, you cannot argue with prosperous and success. I have real fruit. And the only thing that's stopping you from producing fruit is not someone else, it's you. That's a belief system. Your belief system is saying the thing that's holding me back is the support I'm getting from my spouse. That's a negative and limited belief system. No one can hold you back. Nothing can hold you back. The only person that can hold you back is you. Okay, so you're not saying that. Great. So tell you what, Sylvia, I don't know if you're decent or whatever. Oh wait, I can't invite you up. Can I invite you up on here? Hold on, let me see. Invite a guest. All right, let's see here. Sylvia, I don't know if you're gonna get this. I just put this on here. I don't know if you can even come up, but if you want to come up on screen, click that link right there and let's have a conversation. That way I don't put words in your mouth and go somewhere else with it. But if somebody else is believing that, like the only person that can hold you back, bro, is you. I promise you. And so let's go why I paused for a long time before I even started addressing that. Is that there's another philosophy that exists that I just disagree with. And that philosophy is God would want me unhappy. Therefore, I should get a divorce because God wouldn't want me to feel this way. Okay, well, give me the text for that. Give me the scripture that you're standing on that says you can get a divorce if you're unhappy. Because I can't find one. But I've heard that from the pulpit. Now I have seen in the Bible where it says that if you are being cheated on, you can get a divorce. But I ain't never seen, well, we ain't getting along. We ain't, I'm, he went one way, I went one way, and now we unhappy, and whatever. And that's I haven't seen it. Now, Sylvia, I've never used that link before. So I would think that I would see somewhere on my screen where you're trying to get on. Um, and I don't see anywhere on here where you're trying to get on. Need to refresh new link. Guests can add new channels to the stream. Uh yeah, you should be able to click and it should say somewhere on my screen that you're trying to get on. So now we're about to get into a whole nother thing, right? This was not a relationship channel, right? But it says some men gaslight their wives. That's not okay with Christ. It isn't adultery, but the Lord wants his daughter to be healthy and whole, not losing their minds. That's a marriage to a narcissist. You hitting live chat? No, click on the link because I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on YouTube. Even though I'm on there, I'm on Restream. Right? All right, y'all want to take me? So all right, so we're going into belief systems, right? And again, this is why beliefs are so before you adopt a belief system or any belief is why you should intrinsically research it because it's ultimately going to change who you are because it changes what you believe. See, a lot of people who say you believe something, you don't believe it because you didn't change when you believed it. There's no way to believe something new in your life not change. It's impossible to believe something new and really believe it and your life does not change. So, going back, it says, I believe that the final authority for God, actually the only authority for my life is the Word of God. Now, I don't always live up to the standards, but that is my belief system. So, if I'm going to make a decision to get married or to get divorced, then I need to go to the authority of what I can and cannot do. I have not seen, Ashley, that gaslighting is a way for divorce. That's what you said. Some men gaslight their wives. That's not okay with Christ. Haven't seen that in the Bible. Like you said, that's not okay with Christ. Find that in the Bible. It is an adultery, but the Lord wants his daughters healthy and whole, not losing their minds. Well, he said that he was your peace, not your spouse. What is the belief system that you adopt? You cannot ride the fence. Are you going to listen to the common thread of man, or are you going to go back to the Word of God? What's your belief system? Because on one hand, you listen to the Word, and on the other hand, you listen to Dr. Phil or any of all these other spiritual age people, even these supposed to be Christians out here. Like, do you know? Like, listen, man. And so we go into a whole nother direction, right? Do you know Christians right now? Christians, I'm talking real Christians, are saying that you can use crystals. Find it in the Bible. Find in the Bible where it's okay for you to use some crystals. I can show you in the Bible where it says you can't. Find me in the Bible where it says you can. That your chakra and you can do all these other kind of stuff. That is, guys, that's witchcraft. Here's one that's very common: sage. Now, I can find a Bible where it talks about you should not use sage. Find in the Bible where it says you can use sage. In my Bible, it says use oil. Like I'm going to anoint. Where, sage? Where's it about? Oh, I just got a new house. I'm gonna burn my sage, and we're gonna go through the house, or something's not going. I'm gonna burn my sage. Find that in the Bible. Now, the closest thing that you might be able to find in the Bible, because again, remember it's your final authority, right? Closest thing you might be able to find in the Bible where it talks about that is when the tabernacle in the Bible says they burn incense, but the incense, the priest lit it, and it represents the prayers that went up to God. Your sage does not represent the prayers going up to God. So now you're depending on crystals, or now you're depending on sage to do what God said he would do. And you're doing it for something like, I don't understand. See, it's a belief system. You cannot have a different input without having a different output. It is impossible. If I change my input, it will definitely change my output. I cannot change my belief and still be the same person. It is impossible. So I'm gonna share this story, guys, while we in here. And I was hoping that Sylvia was gonna be able to get in here. Guys, Sylvia, I put a link in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, but I just put it in up. I put it in there again. Right. If you can see the link in the chat, click on the link in the chat and we'll bring you up. All right. Here's the story, guys. I love this story, and I probably will use it every day until people actually really get it. Right. There's a story of a man who took his daughter to a carnival. And a guy comes out and he's on a unicycle. He goes up on the wire. The wire is like 100 feet up in the air. And people are like, he said, "Do you believe I can go and take this unicycle and go back and forth on this unicycle?" And they're like, "Yeah, we believe you. Yeah." So he goes up there, he goes back and forth, back and forth. And he climbs back down. He says, "Do you believe that I can put on a blindfold and go up there and go up on this unicycle?" And they're like, "Yeah, we believe you. We believe you." So he goes up there, he puts on the blindfold, and he's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right? Then he comes back down. He says, "Do you believe I can put on the blindfold and remove the net and actually turning 360s?" "Yeah, we believe you. We believe you." Comes back up there, puts on the blindfold, removes the net, and he's going back and forth. And he does a 360, and he goes back and forth, and he does a 360. And people are like, "Yeah, yeah." Then he comes down and says, "Do you believe I can do the same thing with a person on my back?" And people are like, "Yes, I believe you. Yes, I believe you." Right? He says, "Well, who's going to be the first one to get on my back?" If you really believe that he could, then you would be the one who volunteered. It's easy to say you believe until it allows the fruit of your belief. Now, I could see me being one of the people in the audience. "Yeah, you can do it. Go do it. Go do it." What I'm really saying is that I want to see it. I want to see you put a person on your back, and I want to see you go back and forth doing 360s blindfolded with no net. I want to see it. Oh my God, that's going to be spectacular. But when you ask me if I believed it, I'm like, "Yeah, I believe you can. Let's see." Because I really don't believe it. I want to see it. If I really believed it, then I would be the person who volunteered to get on his back. But I ain't volunteering. Therefore, I must not believe. Faith is the fruit of belief. You're not able to see the link. I'm sorry, Crystal. Okay. Um, yeah. Faith is the fruit of belief. Jesus all the time seen people's faith. He called it little, he called it big, he called it great. But when you believe something, action will follow. So if you don't like the fruit of your life, change your input, which is your belief. And how do you change your belief? By putting different things in you. Meditate day and night on the word. It will change who you are, change your belief system that will then change your outcome and change what you're actually doing. Therefore, it's going to change your results. Input, output, different results. And you cannot tell me you believe and have the same input, therefore you have the same output. It is impossible. Guys, that's my word for the day, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Been on here about 53 minutes, and it's just a random thing, right? I had this random thought, like, wow. So if I had to put this into a chronological order, I believe that it happens like this, right? I believe that my belief system would actually develop an expectation, would develop an expectation. It would change who I am. Therefore, it would change what I do. And what I do now turns into faith because faith is a fruit of belief. So now I change my belief, it changes who I am. When I changes who I am, it changes what I do. And now what I do is actually in faith because I believe something that's not even there. And I'm doing something, even though I don't see it, I'm doing it because I believe it's going to happen. I believe I'm going to open the business. I believe I'm going to write the book. I believe that, we're going to make $1 million. I believe I'm going to buy the real estate, right? I'm believing it. So therefore I'm doing it. Because I now have that different input, I now have a different output. So now it was belief, expectation, faith. Well, actually, it would be action, then faith, because faith is your belief in action, then manifestation. So we had five different tenets that we have here. It was first belief. It's first belief. Belief will then help you change who you are, and you will actually have a different outcome. So now my belief presents expectation. My expectation produces action. My action manifests as faith, and faith now becomes the tangible fruit of what's actually becoming. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith now, where what is faith is my belief in action, and my belief changed who I was. Because I believe I can lose weight, I'm going to do something different. Because I believe I'm going to open a business, I'm going to do something different. Because I believe I'm going to actually get into real estate, I'm going to do something different. Because I believe that I'm going back to school, I'm going to do something different. My belief changed who I was. It changed who I am, changed my actions. And out of my belief, I get commitment, I get dedication, I get discipline, I get all these different things because it changed who I am. And when it changed who I am, it changes what I do. Now, I ain't opened a business yet, but I believe in for it. So my actions have changed. And now people should be able to see the fruit of your belief by the change in what you do. Here's the last example. John the Baptist was in the wilderness and he's baptizing. And the Pharisees come to be baptized. And he says, I haven't even seen the fruit of repentance. He says, I haven't even seen the fruit of repentance. Wait, what? In other words, he's saying, if you really believed, if you really believe there will be a change in you, and as a result of a change in you, it will be a change in what you do, and I would see the fruit thereof. And I don't see any fruit, so therefore I don't think you believe. That applies in life. If you don't like the results that you have so far in life, then you have to look at the input system. You have to look at the belief system. And if you change the belief system, the input, it will ultimately change you and how you see it and what you do. And then eventually we will see your actions and your faith will bring about, because remember, faith is belief in action. Your faith will bring about that thing that you're believing for. And it's a process. It does not happen overnight. Joshua 1 and 8, meditate on the law day and night. Then you will observe. You will actually start doing different, have a different input. You would then reserve. Sylvia, if I click on that, it's going to bring me out of, I'm on Restream, and so I tried to bring you on Restream. So I can see your text, but you cannot see mine, looks like. Can anybody else see it says Studio Restream.io. Can anybody else see that? Just put a number 1 in the chat if you can. It says it's on YouTube and Facebook. So, excuse me. So hopefully you can. But that's it, guys. You want to be successful in life? Change your input. Change your input. So Shirley says she can't see it. So when I type here, I see Restream in the top right corner. No, in the chat, in the chat box here, can y'all see anything in the chat? I'm just gonna type in hello everyone. Let's type hello everyone. And in the chat, do y'all see hello everyone? Because it says host and it says it posted on Facebook and it says it posted on YouTube. It's saying it's there. Okay, so my chat is not working, therefore you're not getting the stream. Okay, that makes sense. No, not in the chat. And Ashley says it, Valerie says it, Sylvia says it, Regina saying it. So yeah. So all I'm saying, guys, seriously, and I really want you to look at this. What is the belief system that you have adopted that make you feel that you're not having prosperous, you're not being prosperous, and you're not having success? And that's success economically, financially, socially, spiritually, in every single area. What belief system have you adopted? And then change that belief and watch what happens. And you really got to believe it to the point where you're willing to get on the guy's back and ride back and forth. You really have to believe it. Not some superficial, I'm going to repeat it a couple times and then it's going to happen. No, you really have to believe it to where it changes your commitment, it changes your dedication, it changes your discipline, it changes who you are. And I really believe it. I become someone different and I'm going to have different results. That's how you don't fail at life. That's how you produce the dreams that you know are deep down inside of you that you don't know how to get out of you. That's how you manifest all the ideas that God has put inside of you. That's how you begin to stir the gift up inside. Guys, I'm telling you, change your input. Thank you, Shirley. Change your input and it will change your output. What input you put in there? Well, Philippians, I believe it's 4:13. Let's go there. Let me see if I can go to Philippians. I think it's Philippians 4:13. No, that's I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Hold on. 4 4 and 8. So watch this, guys. So there's a really big thing right now just with meditation. It's really a big thing. What's going on, Nicole? It's a really big thing right now with meditation. Should we meditate? Should we not meditate? How does Christians meditate? What do all this kind of stuff? Well, the Bible says that Jesus got up every morning and prayed. And he prayed before the sun came up and he prayed for hours. But then he was able to do things that people were not able to do. But he was actually God in flesh, but he operated as man on earth. So how was Jesus able to walk in? Was when Jesus walked on water, was he operating as God? Was he operating as man? When he turned the fish into a feast, 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread, was he operating as God or was he operating as man? When he cast out demons, was he operating as God or was he operating as man? I really want, seriously, I want y'all to think about this. When he rose the dead, was he operating as God or was he operating as man? Because if he was operating as man, that means that what he did, you should be able to do. And then we go to the scripture that says, greater things will you do because I go to the Father. When he said greater things will you do, what was he talking about? Then we see examples in the Bible in Acts where you see Peter, you see the disciples now walking in the miracles and manifestation of the power of God. That they're actually praying over handkerchiefs and taking them back to the sick and the sick is being healed. That they're speaking and actually the deaf is being raised. That people are getting the word of God and the spirit of tongues is actually coming over them automatically. So now you got the dead being raised, the sick being healed, handkerchiefs being prayed upon, that they're walking by and the shadow of them is healing people. Is this not the way the church is supposed to function today? So if that happened for them, were they operating as man or were they operating as God? Because I never read in the Bible where those disciples, those apostles were God. I only read where they were man. So we can make the excuse and we can make the argument for Jesus. Was he operating as God or making him man? We can have philosophical and theological discussion about that, but you cannot make the argument for the apostles. They were men. So when the Bible talks about meditating, well, it tells you how you should meditate. Finally, Philippians 4 and 8, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things that are lovely, whatever things that are of good report, if there's any virtue and if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. So he gives you the characteristics for what you should meditate on. It should be true. It should be noble. It should be just. It should be pure. It should be lovely. It should be things of good report. And if there's any virtue or anything that's praiseworthy, these are the things that you meditate on. Well, what does meditate? It means me did A. What are you consuming? Me did 8. Me did 8. Meditate. Me did 8. What are you consuming? What are you feeding your spirit? What's coming through your eye gate? What's coming through your ear gate? What are you feeding your spirit and your soul? Is it praiseworthy? Does it have good virtue? Change your input, it'll change your output. I need y'all to get this, y'all. If you change your input, I promise your output will change. If you don't like your life, if you feel like you're failing, if you're in that rut, if you feel like that the greater thing that's inside of you, you can never pull out, I promise you, change your input. Just change your input. What are you putting inside of you? Bad Girls Club, right? And I don't even go. Yeah, I don't even talk about negative things, right? Like all the negativities out there. How much time do you spend focusing on things that will give you the end result of what you really desire? If you want real estate, every single minute that you have available should be going towards real estate, changing your input. If it's crypto, every single thing that you can learn about crypto, you should be doing it. Watch this, changing your input, changing your belief system. You know what fear comes from? Fear comes from the lack of not knowing. That's what fear is. Fear means I really don't know what's ahead. I don't know what's in the dark. So you're scared of the dark? I can't see it. I don't know what's there. So my imagination takes over. What stops people from investing in real estate? The fear of not knowing. What stops people from investing in crypto? I really don't know what this is. I really don't know how it acts. I really don't know how to respond to it. What stops people from speaking on stages? I really don't know how. I really don't know how to address the crowd. I really don't know how to greet people. I really don't know how to, like, you don't have the art, so now you're afraid. But when people know and master the skill, they're not afraid anymore. Go spend your time, your input, learning that thing and watch how you overcome the fear. And fear is good. See, again, the church has failed to even teach fear correctly. Fear is good. It is great. Fear is one of the best things in humanity today. I never know how courageous I am until I know the level of fear that I'm able to overcome. Fear is the measurement tool to tell you how great you are. I never know how great I am until I know the level of fear that I'm ever overcome. So it can be some fear such as something small, like let's say I have a fear of driving at night. But when I was little, we was on the highway and we got into an accident. And it was at night, so I always said I wasn't going to drive at night. Okay, so how do I overcome that? I now have to change my input so that I actually develop the confidence. Well, how do I develop confidence? Okay, can I see at night? How do I actually able to see more at night or better at night? Right? Get statistics when the accidents actually happen, or day or night. They're pretty much equal. So if I'm driving in daytime, I'm just as likely to have an accident in daytime as I am at night. What's the safest roads that I can take at night than I can maybe on the highway? Right? What can you do to get more information that's going to allow you to actually say, I'm going to drive at dusk? And if I can drive at dusk, then maybe I can drive at dawn. And if I can drive at dawn, then maybe I can drive at the beginning of night. And if I can drive at the beginning of night, then maybe I can drive at night. And as I change my belief system, I promise you it will change what you do, because you'll be driving at night and you don't even know it. Gradually, it tells you, fear tells you how courageous you are. Because, and I'm preaching this because I'm preaching to myself. I'm telling you, this is also to me. Fear will tell you how much you have grown in the area of self confidence, in the area of even self respect. There's some people right now who will not, watch this, will not leave a relationship, not because you're scared of the other person, but because you're afraid of being alone. I need y'all to get this. Yes, my fear is to leave this world without changing my generation or leaving my kids an inheritance. Fear keeps me motivated. But if you don't like your input, I'm sorry, you don't like your output, got to change your input. Guys, I love you with the love of Christ. Guys, I've been on here for an hour and 9 minutes. I'm going to go. But this was my thoughts for today. I may come back randomly and come back with another. But check it out. If you guys have not, I don't have my books here with me in the other room. If you guys do not know, I just wrote a series of books on real estate. And I literally have given every single strategy that I have that I've used to go from $300 to over $15 million in real estate using no credit. Um, and I'm giving away 1,000 books. But you must come to my release party. That's my gift to you for coming to my release party, for celebrating with me, for encouraging me. Guys, go to financialmoses.com. It is free to come. There's no charge. And if you come and you stay the whole time, guys, we're going to actually give you you get to pick your book. It's 7 books. You get to pick which one you want. There. She said, I need all the books, right? Yeah. Trust me, and I gave all the sauce. And I promise you, people say, "Oh, I'm going to give this much so that they have to come back and buy from me." No, I gave all the sauce in there, and it's upstairs. There's a book by Russell Brunson called. Well, it's 3 books. He has .com secrets, expert secrets, and he has .com secrets, traffic secrets, right? And those 3 books, you guys. When I say he gave all the sauce, he gave all the sauce. When I say, I mean everything. And because he gave everything, it made me want more. Like I want more and I want more and I want more and I want more. And I ended up buying his program because I wanted more. It's next week's next Saturday. And it's on Zoom. It's on Zoom. It's next Saturday. Just go to financialmoses.com. You guys, you'll get text messages, you'll get emails, you get all that kind of stuff so that you can actually make sure that you don't miss it. Because we're giving away 1,000 books, so therefore we only have 1,000 seats available. And it's going to sell. I mean, we're doing Facebook ads, we're on Clubhouse, we send out emails to our email list, we're doing lives like this, we're doing so many different things to ensure that we have 1,000 people there. And it's absolutely free to register. We just ask for your name, your email, and your phone number, and you're done. Like that's it. And yeah, just go register. Financialmoses.com. Thank you, Sylvia, for registering. Um, yeah, what was I saying? Though I just forgot that quick when I went back to that. But anyway, um, Russell Brunson, he gave all the sauce in his books. And it kind of convicted me because I was in the process of writing my books while I was reading his. And I was like, I'm gonna give everything. So like there's a system that I only teach to my mentees to pay me $25,000. And it's called How to Get the Property Every Time Strategy. How am I able to get all these properties? How am I able to make it a 2-day weekend? Nicole, that's not a bad idea. I might just do that. I might just do that, Nicole. That's a great idea. I might just make it a 2-day weekend. We're gonna look into that. I'm talking to my team about it. I think I might do that. But if I make it a 2-day weekend, I want to bring in some other speakers, which I think is gonna be great. And I know just who to bring in. But what I was saying is that strategy is like, oh, I gotta hold that back because I gotta have something to give people if they're gonna pay for my $25,000 mentorship program. And it just convicted me. And it was just like, just give them everything, George. And if you give them everything, I promise you they'll come back and buy from you, which is the same way you went out and bought from Russell. We're about to join Russell Brunson's mentorship program, and the first level of his mentorship is $35,000. We're joining it, and we're going to join the $200,000 mentorship program. First level is 35,000. The highest level is 200,000. We're going to join all of it, right? Why? Because he gave me everything in his books, and it showed the kind of integrity that he had, that he really wants to see my success. And if I really wanted to see your success, would I give you everything? Yeah. So when I say I gave you everything, if you read these books, your input, you read these books and really believe that you can do this, I promise you it will change your output and you will end up buying property. And when you buy property, now you got fruit and you can't argue with fruit. And then you just repeat. And you say, if I can do it in real estate, well, then I can do it in business. If I do it in business, then I can do it in my relationships. If I do it in my relationships, right? You see how this is contagious? Why? Because it applies in every area of your life. If you change your input, I promise you change who you are. And as a result, it's going to change what you do. And if it changes what you do, it's going to change your output. It is that simple. It really is. And it also applies to your spirituality. Last thing I'm gonna say, and I keep saying this, right? It's the preacher in me. I didn't said I'm last thing I'm gonna say like 15 times. I'm getting ready to close it now, right? Right. I didn't close 15 times, right? Um, I say this, guys, and the people think I'm weird. When you come to God and you come to Christ, do not stop trying to sin. See, that's the output. That's the output. Stop trying to change the output. Stop trying to stop sinning. That's called willpower. God never said by willpower you will stop sinning. Never in the word of God. You will not find it. Instead, change the input. What's the input? Change the relationship you have with God. Get closer to God. Pray more. Read more. And you will notice that sin will dissipate. And you didn't even try. Why? Because I changed the input. It will then change the output. It will change who I am, which would then change the output. But you trying to change the fruit and you still got the same root. Stop. People get saying, like, I got to stop cussing. I got to stop smoking. I got to stop gambling. I got to stop whoremongering. I got to stop doing that. No, do all of those things while you also get closer to God. And you will notice that you don't want to cuss anymore. Matter of fact, it ain't that you don't want to. You just stop. You didn't even try. Whoremongering, like, man, I don't even have a taste for that anymore. I don't even desire to go those places anymore. You didn't try. The Holy Spirit just did it. But the reason you have so many Christians that go and fall and come back and go and fall and come back and go and fall, if we fall down, but we get up. But you done fell 15 times. You know why you keep falling? Because you're doing it in your own strength. You're doing it in your own power. You're doing it by willpower. Nowhere in the Bible does it says you can will your way out of sin. Flesh cannot cast out flesh. If that was if flesh could cast out flesh, then Jesus was never necessary. You try to get this, y'all. Really do. Change your input, it'll change your output. It applies everywhere, in everything. So that's my last word. I'm really closing there. Go to financialmoses.com, you guys. I'll see you on next Saturday. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I may come back a little later as I continue with this thought process. All right, man. I love y'all. I'll see you guys later. Be blessed.